relative to protein, carbs, and fats are completely negotiable. Unlike with carbohydrates and dietary fats, calories from proteins are nearly impossible to store as fat, and almost always lead to improvement of body composition.
Welcome to Philosopher Insights, the podcast that delivers wisdom in minutes a day that you can put into practice daily and strive to master over a lifetime.
The podcast committed to sharing ideas that encourage you to bridge the gap between who you are today and the person you aspire to be in the future.
Hi, my name is Herb Lamba, and welcome to my podcast where I will share practical insights from the world's best authors.
Knowledge isn't power, applied knowledge is. The quest to become the best version of you starts right now.
Hi, and welcome to Philosopher Insights. My name's Herb Lamba. Today, we're discussing Forever Strong, a new science-based strategy for aging well. The author is Dr. Gabrielle Lyon. This book was published back in 2023. I wanted to share a number of my favorite insights from this book, starting with Organ of Longevity, Drop the Baggage, Real Fountain of Youth, Undisputed Champ Protein, Truth About Glucose, Muscle and Insulin Resistance, The Skinny on Fat, Know Your Starting Point, Training Required, and finish it off with Mindset. So let's begin with the introduction. Quote, "What you're about to read has the power to transform your life. My goal with this book and with all my work in muscle-centric medicine is to overthrow conventional wisdom on the foundation of good health. I want to help you get to the root of where your body's strength lies so you can take swift and effective steps to feel stronger, look better, and add years to your life. We, in medicine and in society, have long been telling people to lose weight. I realized that we had gotten the narrative all wrong, and the consequences for countless individual lives would be devastating. In the coming pages, I will shed light on how we became so blinded to some of the key nutritional realities that have interfered with more widespread health. We will examine the questionable science behind commonly accepted nutritional principles and the deeply misleading wisdom that leads so many to poor health outcomes. Whether you're looking to maximize your weight loss and performance or to age well, Forever Strong will show you why, when, and what to execute to make real changes in your body and your life." End quote. So guess what? Just finished Forever Strong by Dr. Gabrielle Lyon, and oh boy, it is like a looping roller coaster for your brain. I'm serious. This book is so crazy informative that I practically turned it into a neon rainbow with all the highlighting I was doing. Every page hits you with fresh nuggets that make you question everything you thought you knew about staying healthy. It was a wild ride, and I loved every twist and turn in this book. As challenging as it was to pick out my top insights from the book, I am thrilled to be able to share some of my favorites, so let's dive in. Insight number 1, the organ of longevity. Quote, "Building muscle is the most important safeguard for health because it's the bodily system that will allow us to live our longest, most capable, fulfilling life. The key is metabolic health. By increasing your healthy muscle mass, you not only change your body's physical structure, but also direct how your body uses both food and energy. Through training, you increase the density of muscle mitochondria, the primary energy-producing units within almost every cell of your body. This allows your body to use nutrients such as carbohydrates and fats and convert them to energy that can be used to power everyday activities. On the flip side, unhealthy muscle is not only weaker, but also less effective as a metabolic sink. In essence, building muscle creates something like body armor that protects you in all domains of health. The most important thing to understand right now is that it is absolutely possible to optimize or restore proper metabolic function by building and maintaining healthy muscle." End quote. Now, after reading countless books on health improvement, none has highlighted the significance of building muscle as much as this one. While we all know exercise is crucial, Dr. Lyon's book takes it a step further, proposing that cultivating and sustaining robust muscle is the linchpin for a longer life. Keep in mind, the greater your healthy muscle mass for processing fat and glucose, the more robust your metabolic health becomes. Now here's a quick heads up. When we talk about muscle health, it's really a two-in-one deal. First off, there's the physical part. You know, the strength aspect that we all already understand. But then there's the metabolic side, and this one's a big deal. It's not just about lifting, it's about how it impacts insulin sensitivity, keeps glucose in check, and even plays a role in your mitochondrial health. So, It's like our muscles are pulling double duty here. Insight number 2. Drop the baggage. Quote, think of muscle as a suitcase. When you continue to eat the wrong foods in the wrong quantities, you overstuff your suitcase until the excess content spills out. In this case, what spills out is glucose, fatty acids or amino acids, and all that substrate overflows back into the bloodstream. Somehow, the body must dispose of all these extras. That's when initial disease process begins. Whether the trouble starts as obesity, diabetes, or other conditions, the underlying pathology remains the same. When muscle, your main metabolic organ, gets flooded and overwhelmed, you gain fat. This fat goes on to create low-grade inflammation. End quote. So, when your main metabolic organ, yes, your muscle, is drowning in excess, you end up gaining more than just luggage weight. Hello, fat. And that fat, according to experts, becomes the maestro of low-grade inflammation, playing a not-so-harmonious tune in your body's symphony. Insight number 3. Real fountain of youth. Quote, my goal is nothing short of upending modern medicine with a refocus on muscle as the foundation of youth. In real life, it's neither a fantastical elixir nor a miraculous curative. But muscle can still be a magic pill for transforming health outcomes. And, fortunately, muscle also happens to be the only organ over which we can voluntarily exert control. Accepting this minor miracle will empower you to shift into execution mode to improve your health starting now. Here's a maxim to keep you motivated. The higher your healthy muscle mass, the greater your protection against all-cause mortality and morbidity. End quote. Now check this out. Did you know losing muscle is actually worse than gaining fat? It might sound surprising, because most people think losing fat is the healthy priority. But guess what? According to the author's research, beefing up those muscles holds the key to a supercharged metabolism and a longer, healthier life. Crazy, right? Insight number 4. Undisputed champ, protein. Quote, interestingly, despite being underrepresented and underrecognized, the benefits of protein have, unlike fat and carbs, long remained undisputed. Recommendations about carbohydrates have flip-flopped over the years. Different types of fat have been demonized and then redeemed. Meanwhile, protein hasn't been questioned so much as it's been left out of the conversation entirely. End quote. Did you know that when dietitians check out how much energy someone needs, they usually zoom in on protein intake? Now, government guidelines are getting there, but they mainly spotlight carbs and fats before really honing in on the protein as the major player. The truth is, when you're cutting down on calories, it's smart to make the calories you do munch on count, and that means prioritizing protein. Quote, my prescription, simply put, is that every adult should consume at least 1 gram per pound of their ideal body weight each day. In particular, your first and last meals of the day should contain a minimum of 30 grams of high-quality protein. End quote. Insight number 5. Truth about glucose. Quote, our bodies do have an absolute need for glucose, which provides an essential fuel for the brain, neurons, red blood cells, kidneys, and pancreas. The obligatory glucose totals approximate 80 to 100 grams of carbohydrates per day. Based on this need, the National Academy of Sciences established an RDA for carbohydrates of 130 grams per day. But this recommendation fails to account for the fact that glucose is not actually an essential dietary nutrient. That's because your body can make it. For every 100 grams of protein consumed, roughly 60 grams of glucose are produced in the body. By properly dosing your protein, your body can become efficient at generating its own glucose rather than constantly relying on dietary carbs. Simply put, prioritizing dietary protein while restricting carbohydrates can reverse metabolic syndrome. End quote. Oh, how things have shifted over time. I recall a time when carb loading was all the rage, with carbs taking center stage in our diets and fats getting the cold shoulder. Fast forward to today, and the focus has changed. Now, if you're going for carbs, aim for the good ones found in high-fiber foods like vegetables, beans, and lentils. Lyons has developed a whole new way to look at your diet. Insight number 6. Muscle and insulin resistance. Quote, skeletal muscle as a primary site of insulin resistance plays a huge role in blood sugar regulation. In fact, problematic insulin resistance can begin in muscle tissue a decade before overt health problems appear. Unhealthy muscle is a root cause of blood glucose management problems, which sets up a series of conditions that distort blood triglycerides and other key markers." End quote. Now, did you know that to avoid post-meal elevations in blood glucose, a carbohydrate meal must be efficiently cleared within 2 hours? Yep, glucose elevation beyond this time frame is the definition of diabetes. Do you recall what insulin resistance refers to? Well, imagine insulin as a key that helps unlock the doors of your body's cells to let in sugar, or glucose, which is like fuel for energy. Now, insulin resistance is a situation where the cells don't respond well to the key. It's as if the lock is a bit stubborn, and even though insulin is trying to open the door to let glucose in, it doesn't work as smoothly. The end result is higher levels of sugar that remain in the blood. So glucose disposal by skeletal muscle, which means that glucose is taken up and utilized by the skeletal muscle cells in the body, plays a crucial role in maintaining normal blood sugar levels and providing the body energy. Insight number 7, the skinny on fat. Quote, "Fear of fats is the 800-pound gorilla behind the U.S. dietary guidelines. No matter how the science changes, federal policymakers still seem to act as if fats are the root of all evil. Since the early 1970s, healthcare professionals have obsessed over the idea that fats and cholesterol contribute to virtually all health problems, including heart disease, obesity, diabetes, and cancer. After nearly 50 years of research, the case against dietary fat has yet to be proven. In fact, the evidence gets weaker with each passing day." End quote. Dr. Lyons dives into these two fat theories we've all heard forever. First up, the classic belief that cholesterol is out there, gunking up our arteries like a clogged drain. And then there's the idea that eating fat is a one-way ticket to gaining weight. But the reality, according to her, is that those theories are similar to old myths that got busted a long time ago. Dr. Lyons doesn't hold back as she shines a light on the big pharma companies. She's straight up saying that they're rolling in the dough by peddling to us these processed plant oils that miraculously transform into margarines and hydrogenated oils. And, of course, lead to the chart-topping statin drugs that millions of people now require to help clean up the mess. Insight number 8, build around protein. Quote, "Keeping your protein consumption steady and on target is a non-negotiable priority of the Lyon Protocol. Protein should be the first macronutrient you eat from your plate. Relative to protein, carbs and fats are completely negotiable. Unlike with carbohydrates and dietary fats, calories from proteins are nearly impossible to store as fat, and almost always lead to improvement of body composition." End quote. Now, I'm sure you're wondering about the Lyon Protocol. Well, it's not your typical diet. It's a savvy lifestyle rooted in informed choices that zero in on nurturing intelligent muscle health. Quote, "Many people starting a new protocol have two main concerns. Will I feel hungry? Will this be sustainable? I assure you that you'll not feel as hungry as you probably have with other diets, and yes, these protocols are not only manageable, but easily enjoyed over the course of a lifetime." End quote. All right, let's break this down. We've seen over time that diets putting the squeeze on what you eat or slashing calories can leave you feeling like you're stuck in the Hunger Games. Been there, done that, not fun. Protein works like magic, safeguarding your muscles and leaving you feeling satisfied. Sounds like a winning protocol in my book. Insight number 9. Knowing your starting point. Quote, "To map any journey forward, we need to know where we're standing. So let's dig in to help you discover more about your baseline. Blood markers can reveal health information that you can improve directly through lifestyle changes. Did you know you can order your own custom lab work for a more detailed picture of your health? Think of yourself as the pilot, your body as the plane, and your blood markers as the gauges in the cockpit that inform the decisions that ensure a safe flight." End quote. Like any adventure in life, our quest for self-improvement starts with understanding our current position. Just as your car's GPS needs to know where you're starting from, Dr. Lyons delves into essential blood markers influenced directly by diet and exercise, factors within your control. To dive deeper into lipids, triglycerides, HDL and LDL cholesterol, inflammation markers, and sugar regulation, I highly recommend grabbing the book for a deeper understanding. Insight number 10. Training is required. Quote, Exercise is your body's birthright. We humans are designed for physical movement, and our bodies are capable of extraordinary feats. Don't think of training as an activity with health benefits. Instead, consider it as a baseline requirement for wellness and an essential component of maintaining health and protecting longevity." End quote. In The Art and Science of Low Carbohydrate Living, author Jeff Volek says, quote, "Exercise is a wellness tool. It's not a weight loss tool." End quote. I have always remembered that short line as a new way of thinking about exercise. Now Lyons walks you through the various forms of exercise in this book. And her high-level recommendations include the following: 150 minutes per week of moderate intensity to vigorous exercise, resistance training 3 to 4 times a week, and 1 high-intensity interval training or HIIT workout per week. If you're not familiar with it, simply look it up on YouTube and you'll be served up hundreds of options to choose from. Final insight, mindset. Quote, "You are the visionary for your own health journey. You will become the person you are meant to be. There is no time like now, so go out and seize what you deserve. The Lyon Protocol is the ultimate insurance policy, determining how you go through life and how you glide into your last decades." End quote. So, that's a sneak peek from the last chapter called Now You Take the Reins. Basically, Dr. Lyons has done her thing, sharing all that science-backed wisdom in this fantastic book. Now it's our turn, all together, to roll up our sleeves and put her insights into action. Let's do this because it's always day one. Until next time, stay curious and keep embracing the wonders of knowledge. Talk to you soon. You've been listening to Philosopher Insights with your host, Herb Lyon. If you enjoyed this episode and you'd like to support the podcast, please share it with others, post about it on social media, or leave a rating and review. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time.
Cold.